The Leafs finally have a legitimate starting goaltender. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Trade Breakers, where we break down all of the trades that are happening in the NHL and put them into NHL 16 GM mode, see how they work out, and then we talk about the trade and break it down. So before we hop into the GM mode aspect, let's talk about the trade itself. So the official trade is Frederik Andersen is traded to Toronto in exchange for a first-round pick this year, which is the Pittsburgh Penguins pick, which they used to get Phil Kessel. It is that first-round pick, which is 30th overall, and a second-round pick. Now, I'm not sure what second-round pick it is for 2017 because they have like 3 second-round picks. Toronto has a lot of picks. They're doing things right, and they should be very, very excited that they have a legitimate starting goalie. Let's have a look at how this trade works out in NHL 16. So you can see here that Frederik Andersen is listed as a medium starter. He's got pretty decent potential, 86 overall in GM mode. And when I'm talking about the picks, I mean, there are so many second round picks that they have in 2017. I didn't know which one it was, so I just chose the San Jose pick. I ended up changing it here. That's what I heard on Twitter. And we're going to go ahead and see if the Toronto Maple Leafs do accept. And they actually say no. They want nothing to do with Frederik Andersen in GM mode. Kind of strange because they do need a goaltender now that James Reimer is gone. But now let's have a look at the Toronto side. We're going to send the exact same trade over to Anaheim. We're going to send the first round pick from Pittsburgh and then go all the way down to 2017 for the second round pick. And they are also going to reject the trade. So another time where both teams reject both of the offers, kind of what happened in the Teravainen trade as well, if you remember that video. So now let's talk about the trade a little bit. I love this trade for both sides, and I'm going to start why. So I'm going to start with the Ducks. I love this trade for the Anaheim Ducks for the pick. I love the first round pick because I'm going to pull up a tweet here, and it says, history says the Ducks scouting staff can do damage with the 30th overall pick. They got Perry 28th, they got Raquel at number 30, they got John Gibson at 39th, and then Shea Theodore at 26. So they know how to draft well. It definitely shows. Corey Perry 28th overall. Are you kidding me? I thought that was pretty cool. I think the trade had to happen because if Anaheim did not trade Andersen, they would have to give up one of them in the expansion draft. And with the emergence of John Gibson, they can now give him legitimate starting minutes. They can give him 65 games a year. He can be the starting guy. He can be the main guy now in Anaheim. They do not have to split the cage with Frederik Andersen. Now going over to Toronto, I think that's great for them as well. They've been having goaltending controversy since before I was born. They've had ups and downs. They've had Joseph. They've had everyone. They've had Andrew Raycroft. It just goes up and down with Toronto with the goaltenders. And recently with trading James Reimer, and they went with Jonathan Bernier, and such an awful year with Jonathan Bernier. It's just an awful year in general for Toronto. I think that getting a legitimate starting goalie in Frederik Andersen is the way to go. Frederik Andersen is a legitimate starting goaltender, 26 years old. He's entering his prime. He's going to be there for a long time because they inked him to a 5-year contract worth $5.5 million. Literally right after he was traded, boom, signed on the dotted line. He is a Toronto Maple Leaf for the next 5 years. Now, I'm not sure if there's a no trade in there or whatever, but he is signed. He is going to be the starting goalie on day 1 in Toronto. So very, very exciting. Looks like Jonathan Bernier is going to end up being the backup goaltender, which is not that bad. But you have a look at Andersen's stats. The thing that kind of makes me a little bit concerned is that he's always played on a stacked team. Look at his numbers, and that reflects the type of team that he had. He has had nothing but amazing players surrounding him. Now going to Toronto is going to be a little bit different. I hope that Toronto does well. I think I'm an in-the-closet Toronto Maple Leaf fan. I'll never cheer for them, but I hope that they do well, and I think Frederik Andersen is going to be that guy. He only has 125 games of NHL experience, and it's all been with a stacked team. So it's going to be a little bit interesting to see how that works out, but I love the trade for both sides. I don't think there's a clear loser here. Anaheim had to get rid of a goalie. They didn't want to lose one for nothing in the expansion draft. Plus, John Gibson is young. He's ready to go, ready to be the next superstar in net for Anaheim. Honestly, I can't find a loser in this trade. Anaheim gets picks. Toronto gets a starting goalie. Everybody wins. It's a beautiful trade. I love it. If I really had to pick a winner, and it's not a clear-cut winner by any stretch of the imagination, but I will pick Toronto simply because they needed a starting goalie and they assessed that situation. Boom, they don't have to worry about free agency, no trades, it's over. They have Frederik Andersen and a starting goalie goalie, especially a guy like Frederik Andersen. 6'4", 220-pound goalies do not grow on trees, so it's great that they got Frederik Andersen. And I mean, coming up, Toronto's going to be a scary team if they end up landing Stamkos, which is a stretch, but it could happen. Gonna have Austin Matthews. With the recent moves and what's happening in the future, I think that Toronto could be a legitimate contender maybe in 2 years, maybe even next year if they land Stamkos. I know it's a huge stretch, but that's just my quick thoughts on the trade. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Winner is both teams. If I had to pick a winner, I'm gonna pick Toronto. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.